Hello, Abnormal Investigations family. It's good to talk to y'all again. I've got another encounter for you, and I believe y'all are going to really enjoy this one. It comes out of Kentucky, so let's go ahead and get into it. My name is Jennifer. I am a 24-year-old woman from Kentucky. I've had my share of experiences, but this is one of the more terrifying and interesting ones. When I was about 16 years old, my mother began dating a new guy. This guy lived in a trailer park with many neighbors. My mom would often take me and my three brothers there to hang out. We would usually play with the rowdy neighborhood kids. Not the friendliest bunch, but we had nothing better to do. Anyways, there was an adorable little miniature poodle that roamed the trailer park and loved to be petted and played with. His name was Snoopy. One day, Snoopy went missing. We all searched for hours but could not find him. We had pretty much given up until someone shouted for everyone to come over. A man had found something at the foot of a large tree, right in someone's backyard. I ran over, and when I got there, I looked in disgust at what I had seen. There on the ground was a small pile of skin and fur that looked exactly like Snoopy's fur. The skin was still bloody, as was the fur. My mom quickly hurried us kids away, but not before we all got a good look. I was sad. Who or what would do that to an innocent little dog? Well, a few days later, my mother decided to visit some friends. I went with her because I really loved hanging out with her son and her daughter and playing Pokemon. We pulled up to their house and got out of the car. On our way in, a cat approached us wanting to be petted. I petted it for a couple of minutes and went into the house. Our visit was really short, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then we left to go home. On my way back to the car, something in the grass caught my eye. I walked over to get a better look, and upon close inspection, my heart leapt to my throat. It was the body of the cat, and it had been skinned. It was just bone and bloody muscle. I don't know if it was the same cat I had petted, but it was an awful sight nonetheless. After the tragedies of the dog and the cat, I began to wonder what on earth was doing this, what was going on in this place. My brothers and I even explored around in the woods to try to find something. Aside from a full-on Pennywise clown suit nailed to a tree, nothing else was found. That is until the day my little brother and I decided to play outside alone one day. There was a picnic table in my mom's boyfriend's backyard. We would use it a lot when they grilled outside, but today my brother and I decided to lay on it and chill one afternoon. I laid down beside him and let my mind wander. After a few minutes, I was pretty bored and looked up at a glance out of a huge open field that was surrounded by woods. I was about to look away when I saw something emerging from the woods to the left. I thought it was a man at first, but then I studied it more. This thing walked on two legs in a very stumbling motion, like its legs weren't the same that length. Its shoulders were lopsided, making one side taller than the other. From what I could tell, the thing was at least 7 foot tall. It also looked like it was just rotted. It looked so nasty. It was just dirty. You could tell nasty. It had been just in the grunge. My heart was going a million miles a minute as I quickly shook my brother in motion to the field, asking, "Do you see that?" He looked up and his eyes widened in shock. He quickly nodded and replied, "Uh-huh," trailing off a bit as he took in this monster. I looked back up and I realized in horror that this thing had turned toward me and my brother and was staring us down. Its eye sockets looked black and hollow. We were frozen in fear until the thing lifted its left arm and reached out for us and suddenly let out this awful noise. It sounded like a screech, mixed with a wail. As soon as it was over, I yelled at my brother to run, and we booked it in record time back to the trailer. I couldn't help notice it sounded a whole lot like a hoot owl. We were so terrified. We tried telling my mother and her boyfriend, but they didn't believe us. No one believes two kids most likely thinking that we had overactive imaginations. To this day, about 14 years later, when I asked my little brother about this incident, he still remembers it all. We both saw this thing, and I believe it may have something to do with the animals being skinned. I have no clue what it was, where it was coming from, or why it was doing this to the animals. I hope that some people have some answers for me. You know, I don't know why these creatures do that. I can tell you a really weird story. I did have a cat, and we got up one morning, and my mom had went outside to start the truck to warm it up. We was going to go into town, and when she went outside, she yelled for us to come outside. And whenever we went outside, I had a bunch of cats. We had cats in the barn and stuff to keep the rats down and out of the feed and all that kind of stuff. Well, when we went outside, one of our cats was skinned completely, but the weird thing was it was still alive. It did end up dying, but it was weird that it was skinned and it was still alive. Why would something do that to an animal and not eat it? That would just, to me, be pure evil, just pure sadistic. But yeah, well, I've actually seen just that before. And then I guess the night when we was on the live here and my mom yelled for me, and the chicken was on the parking meter out front of our house, and it had been turned just wrong side out and stuck over the parking meter. That was really weird because we don't have chickens. Nobody close to us has chickens, so that was pretty strange. Why these creatures do that, I don't know if it's to scare us or if it's leaving us a trophy. I'm not really sure. What do you all think? Thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate it. Smashing that like button. Until next time, don't be something's dinner, and we'll see you on the next one.